welcome to my channel. My name is Martine, and if you are new here, I do videos on Vedic astrology mainly, but also with some tropical insights. And I focus on both relationship and natal astrology. And if you like this video and you would like to hear more content from me, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of subjects. Please check out the video description. I will leave the information there. Thank you. Today's video is going to be on a subject that was requested several times. I made a video a while ago on Mars conjunct Mars in synastry, and there were a lot of people that commented underneath that video that they would want me to tackle the other Mars to Mars subjects, Mars to Mars aspects in synastry, namely, trine, sextile, square, opposition. So again, although I mainly focus on Vedic astrology, which normally does not look at these aspects, I also look at these aspects because I do think they are relevant. It's ultimately all about energy and how energy in one person's chart interacts with the energy in another person's chart. And also, if you're interested in watching the video that I made about Mars conjunction in synastry, so between two individual charts, I'm going to link that video in the description. So the Mars trine and Mars sextile. I'm going to talk about the easy aspects today. I'm going to make another video at some point about Mars square Mars and Mars opposite Mars, and also quincunx. But today's going to be about the easy aspects because the easy aspects are basically in continuation with the same theme of the conjunction. So the conjunction is the strongest expression of, a meeting of energies that is, very, very harmonious and very, very intense at the same time, because it creates a very intense attraction. I do recommend that you watch that video that I made about the conjunction because it really explains things, like, on a psychological level. But just to get into the sextile and the trine. So first of all, it's important to understand what Mars signifies in an individual's charts. So Mars signifies the masculine primitive archetype in a person. It signifies sexuality, or like the active side of a person's sexuality, or male sexuality. It represents everything to do with the physical biorhythm, basically. So your physical energy, even your physical body, and the kind of sports that you like, and what drives you. I mean, what makes you feel passionate in life, what basically makes you get out of bed in the morning. All of these things are shown by Mars. The way that you go after things, the side of you that is a go-getter, how much of a go-getter you are, all of these things are shown by Mars placement, mainly by sign and house, but also by aspects from other planets. And of course, other more detailed Vedic aspects like nakshatra and padha of nakshatra, etc., etc. But mainly, if you look at the sign and the house, you're going to get already a general good picture of what really makes this person tick and what really makes them go after what they are interested in. So that being said, it is very important that you have harmonious aspects between Mars in synastry. Like I also mentioned in the conjunction video, oftentimes, these aspects are overlooked, meaning the aspects from in between the same planet, between two individual charts, so Mars to Mars, Venus to Venus, Sun to Sun, that kind of thing. Oftentimes these aspects are overlooked by a lot of astrologers to the, instead what astrologers tend to focus more on is the feminine planet aspect to masculine planet, so Venus to Mars or Moon to Mars, which are definitely very important, especially when it comes to attraction. But like I mentioned in the video that I made about the conjunction, Mars to Mars is extremely important because if you don't have the, at least harmonious complementary energies, or at the very least, you should have Mars placements that don't get on each other's, that don't make you step on each other's toes, because in the long term, this will really help, maintain that vitality and mutually energizing effect that you can have on each other. Whereas if you have a difficult Mars placement, it will be a continuous struggle, because it will be, first of all, difficult for you to see eye to eye and understand how you go after things and why you do certain things. And of course, on an intimate level, it also brings conflicts with regards to how you express, the physical passion, lovemaking, intimacy thing. And also, what kind of activities you like. So if you, let's say, I don't know, one person has like Mars in Pisces and the other person has Mars in Aries, they're going to go for comparatively very different things. Like Mars in Pisces is probably going to be more into, foreign travel, expanding their philosophical outlook on life. They're going to be more in their heads and more into imagination. They're going to put a lot of passion into their belief system. Whereas, Mars in Aries is going to be a lot more physical, a lot more athletic. They're going to be, looking for adventures, looking for challenges, especially on the physical plane. So there are going to be differences based on what your Mars placements are. This is was kind of like an introduction. And then you need to understand, so what is trine? Why are the trine and sextile positive aspects? Because these signify an easy flow of energy. They're not as intense as the conjunction. So the trine is formed between two signs that are in the same element, but they are not conjunct. So, for instance, Mars in Aries is trine Mars in Sagittarius. That's a trine. So they have the same element and they have the same polarity. Namely, because they are in the same element, they will automatically have the same polarity. So fire and air signs are masculine, water and earth signs are feminine. That's the same polarity. And automatically having the same polarity and having the same element, they will have the same basic, not the exact same, but they will have at least a common base on how they approach things in life, how they go after things. So fire signs, for instance, are going to be more active, direct, very masculine. Mars is going to be strong in fire signs. Whereas, let's say, Mars in earth signs is going to be, more cautious, more into planning and strategizing, more analytical. But also a little bit more fearful and kind of, having the brakes on. And, obviously there will be nuances based on the sign and especially the nakshatra. So when you have Mars trine Mars, this is the second best aspect to have after the conjunction between Mars to Mars. You will not have as strong of a physical attraction. And again, like I mentioned in that video, it's usually, especially on the male side, that the male person in the relationship, or the person who identifies as more masculine, is going to be particularly happy in this relationship, because he will feel that this person matches his masculine or animus side of the psyche. So if you're basically familiar with Jung's theories, it's like every man has an animus and every woman has an animus as well, and every man has an anima and every woman has an anima. And basically the theory is kind of like yin and yang, the symbol of yin and yang, that it's like, the dark side has one little white dot and the white side has one little black dot. It's kind of like the theory is that, every man is looking for a woman to match his anima or his female side, but at the same time he has his animus and the woman has her animus, and her animus or her male side has to match his idea and his identity as a man. And for a man, men generally own their Mars energy, and women generally own their feminine energy. There are exceptions to this, especially nowadays, because women are more encouraged to own their masculine and men are more encouraged to own their feminine nature as well. And especially when you see people who have conjunctions between their masculine and feminine planets, oftentimes they will own the opposite energy from their gender. So if a woman has like Moon conjunct Mars, she will tend to own her masculine energy, even though she's still going to be attracted to men who portray that particular energy. She will also own it herself, so she will express it directly more than a woman who doesn't have these conjunctions. Just a little parenthesis. But this is going to be particularly, fulfilling for the man, because he's going to feel like this woman is kind of like the, he is like the key to her lock, that kind of thing. But again, to a lesser extent than the conjunction. Like, if you watch the video, I explain it there a little bit more in depth, with the conjunction, it's really intense, and usually the man, especially when the conjunction is within the same nakshatra, it's going to be a very, very strong attraction, especially on the part of the man. At least as far as I've noticed. Again, could be sometimes different, depending on what else is going on in between these two charts. But so the trine is really a continuation of that. The conjunction, it would be the exact same sign. The trine is the same element. So at least they have the same basic energy, the same basic modus operandi. So this is a very good aspect to have for, physical compatibility, for having mutual hobbies that are, enjoyable for both of you. You can understand each other's ways of going about achieving what it is that you want to achieve directly in life. You understand each other's passions. You have mutually complementary passions. So this is a flowing energy. It's like, it's nice. You are mutually energizing each other, and you are mutually oftentimes encouraging each other. There is less of a risk of being competitive with this aspect and the sextile as well than there is with the conjunction. With the conjunction, it tends to be a little bit on the nose sometimes, especially when it's in the same nakshatra, because you're both like swimming very close to each other. Like, again, I can explain it more in depth there. So the Mars trine Mars is really positive to have, but by itself, it's not an aspect that will, let's say, make two people that are otherwise incompatible get together. So it's not the kind of like sizzling, passionate aspect, but once you get that, that is going to make two people like get together. It's not like when the Moon conjunct Mars or Sun conjunct Moon or one of those like key romantic aspects, but it is very important, and it's very helpful in synastry, especially in the long term. And this is another important thing to kind of keep in mind about these aspects. The trine and the sextile, because they are more subtle, oftentimes they're easily taken for granted, it's one of those situations that you may not even appreciate them until the relationship is over, or especially if you get into a relationship later on where you have the square or the opposition, or you have the quincunx, and those relationships will become much more difficult for you than the trine or sextile, and you're gonna miss the easy flow of energy that you had with the trine and sextile. It's that kind of an energy. So it's important to keep in mind that you need to nourish it and appreciate the fact that, you are both basically going in the same direction, more or less, and at the very least not stepping on each other's toes. And again, you have to look at the nakshatra as well with this. I mean, it's not extremely important. You can still get an overall view of how it's going to play out based on the signs, but it's important to look at the nakshatra as well, especially when it comes to planetary relations, meaning each planet has friends and enemies. That's usually what I look at, for instance. So you want to look at nakshatras. I would say nakshatras are just as important actually as the signs. So for example, let's say, for instance, let's say Bharani Nakshatra in Aries and Purva Falguni Nakshatra in Leo. So let's say you have Mars trine Mars, Mars in Aries in Bharani, trine another person's Mars in Purva Falguni in Leo. Bharani is ruled by Venus, and Purva Falguni is also ruled by Venus. So this is going to be a very harmonious trine, because not only do you have, the basic trine of Leo and Aries, but you also have the same ruler. So it's almost like in itself, it's closer to a conjunction than an average trine. But on the other hand, if you have planet rulerships that are difficult, let me think of an example. Let's say Kritika in Aries and Purva Ashadha in Sagittarius. So this is another trine, but Kritika is ruled by the Sun. Purva Ashadha is ruled by Venus. And the Sun and Venus are enemy planets. It's not the worst enemy relationship to have. The worst enemy relationship for the Sun is Saturn. So if you see a planet in a nakshatra of Sun and a planet in a nakshatra of Saturn, they will tend to butt heads there. There's going to be some tension there. But already, if you look at this example between Kritika and Purva Ashadha, there's a little bit there. It's not as much of a harmonious blend as you would have between Bharani and the other one that I used, Purva Falguni, because you don't have the same flow between planetary rulers. This is another thing that you need to take into account with all of these aspects, actually. And this is why Vedic is richer, I think, than tropical, because you get a lot more insights. And also, with the sextile, it's an even more kind of let's say, diluted energy. So you have, first of all, the conjunction, then the trine, which is a bit of a diluted or watered down. Not a nice way to put it, but I can't think of another way to explain it. But yeah, it's a little bit more diluted, and then it's even more diluted with the sextile. So the sextile is like a homeopathic extract of the conjunction. I'm just going to stop with the comparison because it's not going well. Anyway, but that's basically what I'm trying to say. So the sextile shows an opportunity of something to develop. So with the sextile, it's going to be an easy flow, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the flow between you. You're going to feel energized around each other. It's going to be fun interacting with each other. With the sextile, the chances are highest to take this relationship for granted, because with the sextile, you're just going to have that energy of you're not going to step on each other's toes. You respect each other's territory. You respect each other's interests, you respect each other's Mars energy, but you're not going to be as much in sync as with the trine or with the conjunction. So it's going to take a little bit more compromising, because sextile is formed between planets that are in the same polarity. So they're either both masculine or both feminine, without the sign of opposition. So for example, Aries and Libra are signs of opposition because they have the same polarity, they're both masculine, and they have the same modality or mode of expression, which is cardinal. And Aries with all the other two air signs, which are not Libra, form a sextile. So Aquarius and Gemini. So again, with this, you have at least you have this flow of you have the same polarity. So you're not going to get on each other's toes, but you're also not going to be as naturally appreciative of each other's company as you would be with the trine or the conjunction. And again, you have to look at the nakshatra, like I mentioned with the trine. Look at the nakshatra rulers and see what kind of a relationship there is, because that can give you even more insight. And not just the rulers, that's the basic thing that you want to look at, but also you can look at compatibility between nakshatras. And if you want to get even more in depth, you want to look into the padhas, which, each nakshatra is divided into 4 padhas. So, and each of them is ruled by a sign and a planet. So you're gonna have each, like, let's say, I don't know, I don't know, what example can I give? Like, let's say in Kritika, in the third Padha, which is ruled by Saturn and Aquarius, it's so you're gonna have the rulership is gonna be Taurus, because it's gonna be in Taurus. So you have Venus, and then the ruler of Kritika is Sun. So you're gonna have Venus, Sun, and Saturn aspecting Mars in Kritika in the third Padha, for example. And yeah, I mean, if you really want to get in depth. So that's pretty much it. But it's basically, this is a positive aspect to have, once again, but I would not necessarily say that this is one of those aspects that really creates such a strong fuss and such a strong attraction that it would make two people get together. In fact, like I said, quite the contrary, the tendency is going to be that you're going to take each other for granted, especially with the sextile. And as far as examples go, I just found a few with the trine. Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth, I think she has Mars in Cancer and he has Mars in Scorpio. And Kim Basinger, Alec Baldwin, she has Mars in Virgo, he has Mars in Capricorn. And Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas, she has Mars in Capricorn, and he has Mars in Virgo. So these are just a few examples of famous couples who have these aspects. I have not found anybody with the sextile. If you know of any famous couple, please comment in the comment section. And yeah, pretty much this has been it. I hope this has been informative. And once again, if you liked it, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. And if you're interested in a personal consultation, please email me at the email address that I left in the video description. And also, if you have any other ideas of things that you wanna see me cover in future videos, please leave feedbacks and comments in the comment section, because I do look at whichever ideas are being brought up the most. Those are usually the videos that I do first. Yeah, so thank you once again.